Conditions on the lay today, a melee of fields. Yes, in 1685, the Battle of Sedgemoor, there was a melee right where I'm walking today. So my battle continues to walk across the Somerset energy line from one end to the other, across the levels onto Burrow Mump today. I'll be calling at Westonzoyland and Middlezoy, lots of Z's today. And today's walk is 8.82 miles and it should take 3 hours 40. There is a pub at the other end. Anyway, let's get moving. So the walk finishes at Burrow Mump today, and that's quite a significant in relation to the ley lines and energy lines. A guy called Jean-Michel in the 1960s realised at the top of Burrow Mump that he could see Glastonbury Tor, and then pieced together that they were all connected to a ley line. And then of course Hamish Miller came along and found the energy lines associated with the St Michael ley line. I can see it in the distance, but it's not that easy to get to. I have to walk quite a way round because it's all funny fields with drains, or reams as they say round here. So I was going to talk about synchronicities. I was. Well, I've had my first synchronicity of the day. Just met a gentleman there who looks after these footpaths, and his first question, just as I was looking at RAF Westonzoyland, he said, "Oh, do you know there's an airfield over there at Westonzoyland?" That was a synchronicity right there. In addition to the information I was exchanging with that gentleman there, he also mentioned about a black swan seen in these parts. Is a bit of a tweeter, I think. And he said, yeah, it was taken in Ham Wall, where I previously walked. And I thought, I wonder whether synchronicities could be serendipitous, if that's the right word, or at least connected. But I will keep an open mind nonetheless. That's what Carl Jung said, keep an open mind and look out for further synchronicities. One leads to another. So we'll do that today, if nothing else. Because I'll be honest, all else to see around here. I'll be honest, there's not much to see around here. The Somerset levels get a name for being pretty level and nothing else. Interesting fact about the levels, it's a well-known habitat for eels, or Elvers, I suppose. By the time they grow to the full adulthood, they swim all the way over to the Caribbean. So we've got a connection with the Caribbean here. Oh, fucking horsefly. And actually, Elvers are a local delicacy around these parts. People fishing for them and things. Not my cup of tea. Oh, you bugger! Bloody horseflies! Let's get out of here. Yeah, been bitten 3 times. Bugger. So I think we're Just reaching the edge of the airfield now. And an old pillbox, the remains of, still there, can't get in. Westonzoyland airfield, built 1925. Home to RAF Westonzoyland during the war, in use between 1942 and 1956. But it was opened in 1925 with summer camps lasting from May until September each year. It was later used by the Royal Air Force and the United States Army Air Forces. Home to Spitfires, Hurricanes and Mosquitoes. Probably horseflies as well, because I've got about 3 or 4 bites all over me now. But then it was stood down in 1947 and recommissioned as a military jet training centre, which I think they still have training planes now. I've just skirted round Westonzoyland as it's on my way to Middlezoy, back to the energy lines, because if I'm honest, I've had to come right the way round to access past the King Sedgemoor drain. So slight detour today, hence the length of the walk. But what is interesting, Westonzoyland is actually a significant landmark or artefact in Somerset. I mentioned earlier the Battle of Sedgemoor in 1685. Actually, to this day, that makes it, what, 350 years? Basically, it was the last pitched battle on English ground. So it was the Monmouth Rebellion in particular, where the rebel forces of John Scott, Duke of Monmouth, attempted to overthrow King James II. What is interesting around these parts as well is that they basically executed a hell of a lot of people, and they chopped them up and sent various bits of the traitors to all the churches and villages in the area, just to give you a nice polite reminder that rebellion doesn't work. Yeah, and the church over there was used as a makeshift prison. Over 500 rebels were captured and put in there without food or water. And still today, visitors say there's an eerie feeling and cold spots in the church. And dowsers have reported energies in the churchyard. Well, if I had time, I'd do it, but I've got things to do. I'm not on the energy line yet. To get myself grounded, I think I'll listen to some earth hemisync music. Middlezoy Church stands on a little bit of a hill. Ooh. Hello. Yeah, I've just had a really long conversation with the lady that looks after the church. She was telling me all about it. It's got 6 bells and what they're doing. The history, this is called the Holy Cross Church, and actually it changed its name and it was originally called St Mary's Church, and that's where the St Mary line runs through. I did tell her about it. She didn't really know what energy lines were, but I gave her the spiel. Right, let's do a bit of dowsing. Very clear energy today. Very easy to find running through the church. I come to both sides of the church. And it runs right through there. Easily verifiable. So now's a good time to do some resonant grounding. Yeah, it'll do nicely. So the Holy Cross Church dates from the 13th century. Its tower is visible for miles around the levels, and actually they do have a tower open day, the lady was telling me, so you can actually get up there, and it must be an amazing view because it is quite a big tower. The name Zoy likely comes from the Old English sag, sounds like a curry, meaning island, referring to its elevated position. And as you can see, it's a great view. Legend has it that a Templar knight is buried here in an unmarked grave, and a local tale tells of the bells ringing themselves. So that's the end of the walk. I completed 10.67 miles and I did it in 4 hours 5 minutes. So actually not too far off the target. I walked a little bit further, having gone the wrong way because the signpost is shit. But other than that, a really enjoyable walk, 5 out of 5. So the convergence of the St. Michael line and the St. Mary line, the rods appear to go in because this is where the node is. Right there. Right the way through the centre of the church. Yeah. It wants to go either way. So I'm stood right on the node or the vortex of the St. Michael and St. Mary line. This is my favourite artefact, I think, on the journey. I've been looking forward to this. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. The most energetic place I've been for dowsing. And let's have a look at some resonant grounding. The Mump's ruined chapel was dedicated to St. Michael, a common figure linked to the high energy sites, like the one in Glastonbury and St. Michael's Mount in Cornwall, I suppose. The alignment of the churches dedicated to Michael often matches up with known ley lines. Well, this is the key ley line. This is the one where that guy, Jean-Michel Jarre, found the alignment with Glastonbury. It was basically, they tried to build it, but then they ran out of money and didn't finish it off. And then they built another church down below, so. But Hamish Miller and Paul Broadbent in the Sun and the Serpent maps actually did the dowsing round here, around the Burrow Mump, and identified the vortex, which is what I'm pretty much sat on now, I believe. Increased biological sensitivity near the chapel ruins. So there you go. Certain sacred sites correlate with geomagnetic anomalies. The Mump, due to its elevation and placement near waterways, may act as a natural geomagnetic node. The hill's geological makeup may subtly generate a focus of electrical fields, especially when compressed by tectonic or lunar forces. So not only is it the solstice, but also the lunar stuff. Sound experiments at the Mump suggest unique acoustic properties due to the shape of the hill and the ruins' orientation. This may explain reports of hearing things or amplified intuition. Local walkers report sightings of glowing orbs above here, phantom monks, and a feeling of being watched. Some dowsers claim the hill resonates stronger during equinoxes and full moons. Well, that's what it is at the moment. Well, I'm looking for a bit of amplified intuition. I think there's only one thing left for me to do today, and that's probably go to the pub. Sounds like a good idea.